Okay, tonight I want to talk about prosperity and money and abundance and success, love, work. Okay, let's go home. No, just kidding. I think that the area of money and prosperity and work and career and all of that stuff is just so easy to, blessed be, to be always in a state of upset over for this culture. And I think it's really important sometimes for us to apply the craft principles to everything, of course, but to bring it into mind money and our the way we make a living in the world and how much abundance we allow ourselves to have and how we use all of that and all that stuff. The world isn't good or bad. There's no good or bad in the world. There's no good or bad in any manifest phenomenon. The only good or bad is in how we use it. It's whatever leads us towards our goal is good, and that which takes us away from our goal is bad. Our goal being perfection, it's, I think, really important for us to remind ourselves that all perfection, according to the way we view things in the craft, is based on our ability to love, and based on our ability to be at peace, and based upon our ability to relax. So anything that brings us tension is by definition bad because it's getting us away from our goal. And I can't think of anything that brings people more tension than money. Can you? I mean, there are a few things. I mean, like maybe if you're being mugged or something. But for the most part, on a day-to-day basis, money and all that stuff is just so stress-producing on a very profound level. And I think that it's very important that we heal this, because I consider in my own life that the amount of frustration and tension and time that I waste on worrying about money to be an absolute blasphemous waste of my energy and time, and I think everybody would tend to agree. Everything in the world is neither good or bad. We've just described that. So money isn't bad, money isn't good, money is nothing. Money is just like everything else. It's just a manifest physical phenomenon in the human experience, in the storyline of this three-dimensional reality which we call the world. And what happens with money is we put the world is like a big giant ink blot. And it's like a Rorschach test. And that's why we say whatever you do creates your reality. It may or may not change in form according to how you want, but it always changes in response to your thought. Everybody can look at an ink blot and see a different picture. Everybody looks at the world and sees a different picture. Everybody projects onto the world whatever is in their brain. Everybody projects onto money whatever's in their brain. And what happens is that usually I notice that we project onto money a lot of the stuff that our parents had on it. Is there some allergen in here or something, or is it the air? Is it the air being on? Oh, it's the gardening. Okay. Or is everybody just like allergic to the topic? Maybe. Allergic to money. When you're in touch inside with your mental teacher, when you're in touch with your connection to spirit, you're in touch with the same kind of experience as when your physical body is in touch with the air. You can take in as much as you want, and it always replenishes itself. There's no, it's a constant supply. There's a constant supply of spirit. When we go into meditation, you can get as high as you want to get. You can become as profoundly illumined as you want to be, according to your ability to breathe in that experience of spirit. You can take in as much wisdom as your mental teacher wants to give you. The same thing is true for everything. You have as much abundance within you. We all have as much abundance within us as we are willing to take in, as we are willing to breathe in, as we are willing to experience on a spiritual level. When we're looking at what blocks any experience in the world of form or in any part of our experience in the world of form. It always has some sort of a block to a mental construct. Usually, in the experience, it looks like Eli does this all the time. Whatever's the problem, what do you need to do? Relax. Every part of the books is relax. Enough with relax, all right, I've got this bill to pay. I need more money. What does relaxation have to do with that? You just want to smack them, But it's true, though. The bottom line truth of the matter is that the relaxation allows us not necessarily immediately to heal the problem, but it allows us to look at what the problem is. And once we can, don't think that you have the power within you on your own to change the thought, because if you knew what the right thought was to be thinking, you would be thinking it, and then you wouldn't be having the problem. But you do, Eli says, have within you a power that does enable you to think the proper thought, and that is what he calls your mental teacher. Your mental teacher, it has the in for you on how to be able to heal any part of your life and how to give you more of who you really are and what you really need in this world. So you're not going through your beliefs alone. You're going through it. It's just like people that take drugs for enlightenment. Drugs don't care about you. Drugs do not care how fast or slowly you go. It's not the same with us. We have a mental teacher. Drugs may open you up. You might be able to take LSD, you might be able to take psilocybin, you might be able to take mescaline, and it can open you up, and you can have some profound experiences spiritually. However, not to mention the fact that you'll have some really bad physical counteraction to all of that, but it doesn't care about you. It's impersonal. It doesn't care if you're going too fast. It doesn't care one way or the other. Your mental teacher will not leave you unattended. You are not left unattended in meditation. So all you need to do is just call on that power to relax as much as you can in the presence of the situation that you're experiencing. Go into your reverie, experience it, call on the mental teacher and say, what do I need to know about this? What can I do? How can I heal? So, in money, it's very important to realize that in money, if we are out to make money, then what we're doing is we're making money God. That's not part of the perfection plan. That's not part of the plan to perfection. Eli says the part of the plan to perfection is to learn how to extend love. Eli says that the way to perfection is how to be at peace. The way to perfection is how to raise your vibration, how to contribute to the raising of the vibration of the whole world, so that we can move into a higher dimension, a higher way of experiencing interactions and relationships with one another. So if you are non-enlightened and you're not on a spiritual path, you can make money the old-fashioned way as much as you want. You can go out and you can steal and you can cheat and you can lie and you can do all kinds of unethical things and you might get away with them. But anybody who's on a spiritual path, you can't do that anymore. It's not open to you anymore. You know better. You'll get it so much quicker back in your face if you try to do that. And not only that, but it's very sly how we say, well, I'm not doing anything negative, I'm not hurting anybody else, but the idea of making money for money's sake is in and of itself the problem. You're thinking, when you're doing that, you're saying, I have to make money. I'm doing this job to make money. I'm selling this product to make money. What you're saying there is, I'm not provided in this universe, that my spiritual being isn't enough to provide what I need to live and to live joyously in the universe. Therefore, I need to put all that on the back burner and make enough money. And once I have enough money, then I'll get my spirituality together. That's not it. What probably a more enlightened approach to making money would be is to say, God, all I want to do is serve you. All I want to do here is to give you my life to work through me. And I know you're going to provide for me. And that might, so you think you work as a secretary. You think you work as a waiter. You think you work as an accountant. You think you work as a whatever. But that's not what you work as. That's a front for you having an opportunity to heal the vibrations of the planet. Those are the people that God sent to you that day to work with. Those are your students and your teachers. And what you're doing there is your assignment to love those particular people in the particular way that is very unique to your curriculum on your way to perfection as God's given it to you that day. And in turn, one of the things you're going to get is money. One of the things you're going to get back is money. Now, that's not to say that you always have to stay in that job. That's not to say that God wants you to work as a secretary or wants you to work as a whatever. But if that's what's in your consciousness at that time that you're available to do, that's what you think you're going to do, and that's what you think that's going to make you money, and that's what's shown up for you, then that's what you're doing. So give it to God. Give it to your mental teacher. Give it to Spirit. So a good way to handle that is, like for me in my bank account, it's not my paycheck. I don't see my name on that paycheck. I see the goddess. And this is the goddess's bank book. And these are the goddess's bills. And I'm just doing her bookkeeping. And I'm just making all that stuff happen. I'm not doing it for the money. I think I'm doing it for the money sometimes, but in my higher mind and what I try to get into the habit of doing, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing it because this is what I'm here to do. This is where God sent me today. And part of my job in here is doing God's books and paying God's bills. Okay? Then it's not my stuff anymore. I don't have a big charge on it. It's just like, God, you got a phone bill. God, you've given, Mother, oh Mom, the rent's due. Are you ready to pay that yet? Then once you're coming from that point of view, you're not stressed about it. Not on one hand, that the money's on its way. On the other hand, you better be more responsible because it's not your money. It's their money. And part of that money, that money is sent to you not only to pay your bills, but it's sent to benefit the world. If you think about it that way, if you're not at a point, on a time in your spiritual life where you are capable of benefiting mankind with your money, you're not going to get very much. Because at this level, because you're conscious and you're not working just for money anymore, you're not going to be given more money than you are willing to do on behalf of their work. As soon as you start being able to do everything on behalf of their work, you will be given more, and you'll be given more, and you'll be given more. And you're supposed to benefit the world. You're supposed to benefit all of humankind with that money. That's just one of the manifestations of love on this planet. If you're on a path of love, you'd better make sure that money is an expression of love. If everything is an expression of love in your spiritual life, but money is an expression of fear, and your relationships are expression of abandonment, you're all disconnected. You're not with the program. You're not getting any of this. That you can separate. That's what we do. Well, let's see, I've got my relationships over here, I've got my job over here, I've got my career over here, I've got what I really want to do when I get out of this job over here, I've got my bank over here, and I'm going to just take the mother of all creation and the father of all the solar system, I'm going to kind of stuff them in sort of this little box over here somehow. I'm going to make it kind of fit in my little universe, my little artificial construct. How is that wise? How is that wise? No. Everything comes from your spiritual life. Your spiritual life is everything. You dedicate your relationships to your spiritual life. You dedicate your money to your spiritual life. You dedicate your job to your spiritual life. You dedicate your desires to your spiritual life. And everything is about spiritual practice. In the East, they call it dharma. Karma yoga is just the idea of, in the East, of going and everything that you do, your work in the world is on behalf of God. There's a great old, I think it's a Zen story, it might be a Hindu story, I don't remember. But somebody was coming to see a master. And they went to see the master, and they were going to study with this master, and they were all excited. And they went to see this master, and they're sitting at the table with the master, and there's the little tea set that they have and stuff. They're going to do whatever, the tea ceremony. And the student's all excited, and he's telling the master, oh, well, let me tell you about this is what I know about this, and this is what I know about that, and this is what I know about this, and this is my background in this, and this is my background in that. This is on and on, blah, 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 about me. And the master was just listening very attentively, takes the tea, and starts pouring some tea into the person's cup. And the student's going, blah, 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 about, and let me tell you about the other thing that I know, and this is what I understand the mystery of the universe to be, and blah, 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 blah. And he's just pouring the tea, and the tea starts overflowing from the cup, and he's going, blah, 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 and the tea is like spilling on this person, and the person's like, what are you doing? Can't you see that the teacup is full? And he said, yeah, well, so is your mind. And see what happens when your mind is already full with that, and you pour more stuff into it, it overflows. Why are you here? Why are you even here? Why are you coming to me to learn something if your mind is already full? If you already know all that stuff, all it's going to do is overflow. It's going to be pointless. And then he took the teacup and he emptied it. And he gave it back to the student. He said, this is where you need to start. You know nothing. You know nothing. I don't want to hear about it anymore, and then we can start. In Zen, they call that the beginner's mind. And that's what we need in the craft, is when you go to your teacher, you don't want to say, oh, okay, well, but I know that this is what I'm going to do about my money, and I know this is what I'm going to do about this, and I know this is what I'm going to do about that. Because imagine your teacher pouring that tea all over you when you do that. No, instead you need to empty your mind. I don't know what to do with my money. I don't know what to do with my job. It was great at Llamas. Who's going to do this? I don't know. Who's going to do that? I don't know. Ariel, who's going to do this? I don't know. I don't know. But it's going to get done. They know. It's not my job. I have to think about Llamas. Because on the years that I wasn't thinking about Llamas and I was worried about who's going to do the cooking and who's going to do this and who's going to do that, it wasn't as much fun for me, and it wasn't as good of a ritual. It wasn't as good of an experience. So that's what we've got to do with money now. We've got to say, I don't know, okay? I don't know. Now, what happens is, I wrote a great article, I think. I loved this article for me. I mean, because it was great for me. It was exactly what I needed to hear at the time for this last newsletter. And what it was all about was, I work in the attitude of, I work in this little 9-to-5 job, and I only get paid a little bit an hour, and I'm so tired, and what am I supposed to do? Do my life's work, the thing that gives me the most joy, when I'm so tired at the end of the day? Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, if that's where you are. And if the thing that you love to do isn't giving you money yet, then you need to go get a job. But that doesn't mean that you're supposed to stop doing what you love, right? So what happens is, if you go into your meditation and you ask your mental teacher, what does God want from me? What am I supposed to do with my life? And you start getting an inkling what you're supposed to be doing. It's usually the thing that's a lot of fun. The thing that you really love to do, because what you love to do is usually what you're good at. And then you start thinking, yeah, well, I don't think I can make any money out that. So I'm not going to do it because it won't make me money. That's so off. That is so off the path. How about instead, why don't you just say, what do you want me to do? And I'm willing to do it. How about that? How about I'm willing to do everything that you want from me in this lifetime? Because you know what? Eli says that your plan, that God's plan for perfection, is what will bring you happiness. It's going to be what brings you joy. And the bad news is your plan for happiness won't. Your plan for happiness is just going to be giving you more of the same. So what we need to do is be able to say, yeah, well, I could either learn because you're going to learn your lessons, right? So you're going to learn your lessons about this life. So you're going to either have to learn them through struggle or through joy. It's up to you. I'm sure that God is much more interested in you being happy. I know that. Because God is all love. Have you ever looked at how the earth grows things? That this little tomato seed that looks just so I mean, by itself, it's just so nothing. This is this little fleck. Can you imagine somebody that knew nothing about tomatoes being shown this seed and saying, by the way, I'm going to put this little thing in the ground, and this great vine is going to spring forth from the ground, and it's going to feed families with tomatoes. They would think that you were absolutely insane. They would. That this little thing is going to bring forth all of this abundance. You know? But that's what we are. We're these little tomato seeds that are supposed to bring forth abundance. But some of us are supposed to bring forth abundance as musicians. Some of us are supposed to bring abundance forth as scientists. Some of us are going to bring forth abundance as mothers and fathers. Some of us are supposed to bring forth abundance as teachers. Some of us are supposed to bring forth abundance in business. And it's all holy, as long as we choose to plant our seeds in holy ground. But, you know, what we do is we take our seeds, our little tomato seed packet, and stick it in our pocket and, you know, kind of go root around through the weeds, through the dead weeds, and see what we can eat. That's what we do. And that's what money is. It's just a big old drudgery for most of us because we don't give it to God. We don't allow the mother to use the same... You know, it's so funny. Money is so important to most of us. I mean, don't kid yourselves. It is so important. It is so important. It takes up a lot of our time. But, you know, you'd think that something that important would be the very thing that you'd want the mother of all creation and God of the solar system that can keep the planets orbiting around the sun and make things grow out of the ground and make the babies be born and make all of the stars in heaven do what they're supposed to do and can do mitosis of cells and can create things out of nothing. You'd think that you'd want that force to be handling one of the more important things in our lives, but oh no. It can handle the craft. But when it comes to the important thing like money, I'll do it myself. That's my thing. You know, isn't that the truth? I think it is. You might say, oh, well, that's probably for them, but not for me. I think it's the truth with most of us. I think what happens is, at least for me, is I have to get inside. What happens, usually in the past, what would happen is I'd have to have a major money crisis. And I've talked about this before. I'd have to have a major money crisis. And then, you know, and just the spells wouldn't work, you know. It just wouldn't work. I couldn't, no matter how many green candles I burned, it just wouldn't come forth. I couldn't make it happen, you know. And so finally I would have to get down on my knees and ask God to make it happen for me. And then I'd get some real clear answers. Okay, well, you know, it's because you're doing this wrong and that wrong and this wrong. What you need to do is let go of this and do that. It was very easy. And I'd get my life back in order, and then all of a sudden it was mine again. And then I'd go out, and then I would get in financial crisis again. And then this spell, and then that spell, and nothing would work. And I'd come back, and I'd go, oh, God, it's not working! And again, okay, well, do this, and this. And I'd do it, and I would do it, and everything would be great. And then I'd go out in the world, and then it would be mine again. And then I'd it up again. Over and over. And finally it was just like, you know what? Next time when you get into that space of here, you take it, why don't you stay there? Why don't you just stay there? Why don't you do it day to day, moment to moment, all the time? Why don't you just give it over to the spirit of creation in the universe to handle it? But, you know, it's just like, I think it's part of our self-esteem, see, because what will happen is the universe is so vast and it's just me, this little speck of dust, that the universe will forget about me. I think that's where a lot of it comes from when we think about turning our financial life over to the universe, because our financial life, let's face it, it's our survival. In this culture, in another culture, it would have been our crops or whatever. You know, in this culture, the finances are our survival. And the last thing you want to do is be forgotten in the universe with your money. And it's just like, okay, I gave my money over to God and they've totally forgot me. And they lost it. Now I've got lost in their database somewhere. You know, God knows. God is never late on his payroll. God is never late on his payroll. God knows how much your rent is. God knows what your bills are, very clearly what you need. The only thing the universe is set up so that it's always on its way to you. Everything you need and more is like, because you don't even know what you need. You think you need to get your little bills paid. You need a lot more than that to be happy. And all of that more is waiting for you, but it's just you being, no, I'll do it myself. This is mine. We talked about that at Lamas. You go around the world with a gimme attitude. Why do you think people are sending you bills saying gimme all the time? What you put out is what you get back, because it never left in the first place. You start giving with an open heart. You give love, money, energy. It's all the same energy. Energy is energy. The manifest symbols out in the world just represent energy. And what the energy of money is the same energy as anything else. And if you block that energy, it's not because of what's not coming into your life, it's because of what's not going out. When we want to connect with, it's relationships. That's what the whole world is about. It's what your life is about. It's about people. It's about brothers and sisters. And when you go out into the world and have high quality relationships and you're open to receive what God wants to give you, you will be abundant. Do you know that wealth means good? The root word of wealth is good. You want to be wealthy, that means you contribute to good in the universe. You can be as wealthy as you want to be on your path any moment. How much good can I get? Can I contribute to this situation right now? In this particular moment, I'm contributing a lot of good because I'm saying all of this stuff. But, in 2 hours, I might choose something else because it doesn't happen to be on my schedule to be giving good. So I need to think about it constantly. How much good can I contribute into this situation, to that situation? And not worry about whether God will pay me back or not, It's not about whether God will pay you back or not. It's about how deeply you're going to be able to breathe in God's blessings. So usually what goes on in people's minds when they hear about this sort of thing is we think, yeah, well, it's fine to have abundance of love and it's fine to have great relationships, but I'm talking about cash. Well, that's part of it. God understands that, okay? It's not, people think God is so moronic. People think the goddess is just like this little, this little floozy or something. They can't, she's blonde or something, No offense to the blondes, but the blonde jokes I'm talking about. I'm talking about blonde jokes. It's not, she's not like that. She knows how to handle your finances. But on the other hand, people treat the goddess like a waitress. Have you noticed? Mother, spell time. Hello, come here. I'll have this on rye, please. I'm in a hurry. Bye-bye. That's not how it goes. The goddess is not your waitress. Okay, God is not the delivery man. God is not pizza boy. Okay? Rather than that, how about if we say, what can I do to serve you? And that abundance is enough. Do you think that a loving parent doesn't want to shower their children with every tangible piece of good that will make them absolutely happy? Your parents want to give you every bit of financial success that you are willing to use on their behalf. They want to give you as much money as you are willing to use on their behalf. And they are willing to give you only as much money as that, because any more money, they know you're going to get hurt with it. So as your consciousness expands to receive it, you will receive more of it, if that's what is going to help you in your happiness. Now, money is not the only thing that will make you happy. We know this. But as long as you think it is, you're not going to get it that much, because that will just keep you stuck in the illusion. Does that make sense? So, what are some of the beliefs that we have about money? What are some of the judgments that we have about money itself? I mean, realistically. Okay, those are cliches, and a lot of us do believe that. Money's the root of all evil. Money makes the world go round. Yeah, the more money I'll have, the happier I'll be. What are some arguments that you hear in people's relationships about money? You spent too much money. Never have enough of it. There's always more bill than paycheck, you know. I never have any paycheck left over. There's always more month at the end of my paycheck than paycheck at the end of my month. Those kinds of things. Okay, that's scarcity mentality. That's scarcity thinking. And what the thing about scarcity is that it's unnatural. Yes. If you made more money, you'd be better. But isn't it weird that also at the same time we say, but look at those horrible rich people. So much money. With all that money, they could be doing so much more for this world. So it's a double whammy, isn't it? I'm not good enough unless I make money, but when I make money, I'm going to be one of them. You know? So it's no mystery that we've got a lot of really sick, icky thinking about money. The thing about scarcity is that you don't need any money to be abundant. Has anybody ever heard of the Peace Pilgrim? I think didn't she die? I'm not sure if she died or not. I think she did die. But her whole thing was, I'm going to walk and walk and walk and walk and walk until there's peace in the world. And she got so much notoriety. And she didn't have a job. That was her job. That's what God told her to do. That was her bliss. That was her thing. That's what she followed. That's what she wanted to do. She didn't have a job. She had no tangible means of making an income. She had no fiscal network or anything like that. So what happened was everybody knew about her. And she always had places to stay. And she didn't just stay in places. I mean, she had palaces that she would stay in. People would open their homes. They would feed her. They would take her to the nicest restaurants, give her the nicest clothes. They would do everything for her. All of her needs were met. And then some. And she didn't just live. She lived. I mean, she had a prosperous life. Not only that, she was in really good shape. I mean, she walked, you know. So this woman was a happy woman. And she was a very prosperous woman. And she had no cash. There was a person in India named Babaji, who the stories were that he didn't work. I mean, he had temples and stuff like that, but he gave all of his money away. He gave all of his money away to the poor. That's all he did in India. He would give it all away, and he couldn't give it away fast enough. Every time somebody gave him money, he'd give it away. And then he'd give it away, and he'd give it away, and he'd give it away. And he kept giving so much money away that he had these avalanches of prosperity that wouldn't stop coming to him. You know? But he didn't give it away because, oh my God, better give my tithes. You know, it wasn't like that. It was, I want to give because this is service to the God, to the Holy Mother, to God, or whatever his thing was. I don't know. You know, to mankind, womankind. That was his thing. I know, for me, when I give my tithe, and it's like, oh, I know that we need the money, I better give my tithe now. I don't really get that much of a charge off of it. It's not so much fun for me, you know. And I have to really rethink that before I actually send the check in. I have to say, wait, I don't care if that church needs my money or not. That's not why I'm giving it. I know they do, but that's beside the point. I'm giving it because it's my gift. It's what I'm giving. And has anybody heard that phrase, virtue is its own reward? The gift of the tithe, when I give it, is its own reward. Whether or not I get any money back is totally not the point. However, there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm open and willing to receive all of the abundance that God has to give me. And recognizing that the giving of that tithe is just an opening. Because giving is receiving. We have to get that. The more we give freely from our heart of whatever, give our time, give our money, give our energy, give our enthusiasm, give our love on this planet, that is receiving. It's an abundance machine within us that just keeps churning and churning and churning. And the thing about God's laws are eternal. God doesn't die. We don't die. Our love doesn't die. Our giving doesn't die. It's not like your car, which the more it keeps churning and churning, eventually it's going to wear itself out. That's a mortal thing. The abundance machine from within actually grows stronger the more we use it. The more I give of myself to the work, to the way, that is giving to my perfection. It's a muscle that I'm building inside my spiritual body. And see, the purpose of the craft, according to Eli, is that we're supposed to perfect. I think the way to perfection is not the best phrase for really what this is. I think it's the way of perfection. Because the way to perfection always seems like a little carrot that's on a little dangling on a string. We are perfect. We were created perfect. We are stars. Right now, we are perfect. But we forgot. How could God make a mutant baby? You know, it's not that we're mutants and we're this little imperfect, icky things that are one day, if we, supplicate long enough and beat ourselves up long enough, we're going to get perfection because God's so nice to us. That's not it. God made us. We're a thought in God's mind. That's what we were taught. God thought. God's a thought. So God thought. God and God has thought together. Through that union of love, they thought, and we're a thought. And we're the same kind of thought they are. And we're of the same fabric that they are. We are the same star that they are. And we're one big old star, and that's called humankind. And Pan is one person. And that's all of us. And all of us on this earth. And we are one star in the making. In the making because we forgot who we are. We are already there. But to the point where we are constantly efforting and constantly struggling and constantly in tension and constantly fighting and constantly bickering and constantly bitching at each other and ourselves based on our past, and what we do is we take our past, this is what happened to me, this is my story, and this story, who I am, is the sum total of all my little story. And I'm going to take that story and I'm going to project it into the future so that I'll have a continuation of the story. And that's what we call our belief system. That's the mental shield. That's our tension. That's our belief system. That's that whole structure of beliefs which keep us tied to this illusion that we're not perfect. That's the process of perfection, the way of the Magi, the way of initiation is a constant remembering who we are. We are here as perfection incarnate, and we're here with each other to help each other remember who we are. And that's what we're here for. So if you are going to always think about your brother and your sister as what their imperfections are, then what you're telling yourself is your imperfections. That's what you are. But if you're willing to see past their imperfections and see them as innocent, brilliant perfection incarnate, and all the rest of that is just a story, all the rest of that is just a dream, all the rest of that is just a misperception of who and what we are, and we're all going to see ourselves as one, then you're already in contact with, when you see each other as perfection, then you're seeing yourself as perfect. And you're seeing the reality of what the way to perfection is. And that is that we already are here. We're already here. So the raising above our vibrations isn't, we're going to the whole idea of transmutation, the whole idea of alchemy is that you're going to take base level humanity and turn it into God. What that means is you're just going to get rid of all the stuff that's not real. Have you ever sifted flour? You know, you sift it. And you sift it and sift it, and all that's left is some rocks and stuff that you don't want in there. But the rest of it is the right stuff that you want. If you ever do a distillation, you know, there's all of this these leaves, and you're going to make essential oil, right? You're going to take the essence of the plant. You're going to take all these leaves, and you're going to stick them in this thing. You're going to boil some water through there, and the steam is going to rise through that stuff, and it's going to condense, and it's going to condense, and it's going to condense. And pretty soon, what you're going to get out of that condensed steam is a separation between the essence of the plant and all of the crap. And all that crap isn't really isn't the essence of it. So who we are is already, but it's not like the plant just kind of like, if I'm good enough, maybe I'll make some essential oil. No, the essential oil was in there already, right? You're already perfect. We're already there. We're already the same. We're already the tomato seed. We just have to plant it. We have to allow, but we can't. Do you think that the rose leaves could make their own essential oil distillate? No, they need a distiller. That's what your mental teacher is. He's the alchemist. He's the master. You need to stop thinking you know what the heck you're doing and allow him to do it. And he'll just say, and then one of the aspects of your distillation is money.